What's going on? This is Ryan with Automatic Comics, and up next, I've got a big, this should be 16 book modern submission. Don't worry, it's not all like super modern books. There's books back into the 70s and everything like that in here. So this is a CGC unboxing, some awesome books. I have been waiting a few days to do this, so excited to get into it. Let's see what these grades are, because I haven't looked yet. Alright, so before we get started, please remember to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content like this. I've been holding off on filming this unboxing because you can maybe hear it in my voice. I've been sick for a few days, but I didn't want to wait to open this anymore. I've got 16 books. It's the modern tier submission, and there are 11 books in here that were for me and 5 books in here that were for my friend that also wanted to submit some of his books. So I haven't looked at the grades yet. I'm going to hopefully the books are oriented correctly. I'm going to open the box from the bottom so I can't see the grades on the top, pull those out, and then I'll do the drop down from the top. Guess at what my grade was and see how I did. I think what I'm going to do is I really liked a video that Bry's Comics did recently where he went over the graders' notes and compared those to the grades that were on the books. Now, there's no guarantee that there's graders' notes for anything, and so I don't know if there are any for these, but I thought I'd make a second video after the fact. We'll kind of go over the grades and graders' notes and kind of look at what the graders see versus the grades, because I know there's been a lot of talk recently about the modern tier grading, and so I am a little nervous about that. So it seems like some people have been saying that it's grading just fine, other people have been saying they're grading more harshly, and so I don't really know what I'm going to get, and we'll just see. So I'm going to cut into this and see how this all turns out. All right. Okay, so I've got the bottoms of the books here, so I cannot see the grades when I'm opening them up. I don't know which one is my buddy's and which one's mine. Okay, it doesn't look like they're actually in order of... A lot of times they'll be in order of the submission sheet. That's the same order they'll be put back in, and it does not look like that's the case. So, we'll just take these out and one at a time, and I will... Let's see. There's the front. Okay, so let's see which book this one is. Okay, all right, so this is Star Wars Shadows of the Empire non-numbered. It's unnumbered. There's actually 2 versions of this. It's from the, it's like a Kenner toy set, and it was a book that was in there. And this is the one that actually, even though they're the same number, they have different covers. The one that has the cover with Boba Fett on it is, in my opinion, the better book to get. They have different interiors, and the interior for this one has the first appearance of Dash Rendar, who's basically a Han Solo smuggler type character. And so this one, I didn't think it was super high grade. I just thought it was kind of a cool book I picked up for very little as part of a lot from one of the Very Gary claim sales a long time ago. I picked this one up from Jay with a bunch of other Star Wars books. I think I've sold all the other Star Wars books that were in that, and this is the only one that was left. I just thought it'd be fun to get graded. Let's see, I didn't have it as a super high grade. I had it at an 8.85, and I did send all these in to get pressed from the comic book presser. I'll put his information in, so we'll see how this one does. And oh damn! All right, 9.4, man. All right, I will definitely take that, and thank you, comic book presser, because this is a tough book to get in these nicer grades because it's really thin. There's only a few pages on the interior, so they get damaged very easily. And, oh man! So you can see here, this is Kenner Special Edition B, and I think the other one is Kenner Special Edition A. It has a different cover. I don't remember if it's Darth Vader or who's on the cover of that one. But oh man, 9.4. That is awesome. And you know, I'll take a look at it, see why I was thinking it was an 8.85, but man, super nice. So, all right, first appearance of Dash Rendar, 9.4. I guess off to a good start. So really happy about that one. All right, let's see what the next book is here. All right, there's the back. All right. Okay, so this is X-Men 266. This is one of my buddy's books. I thought this one was really nice. It looked really, really clean. I know it can be tough to get this one in the really high grades. Sometimes they're a little stingy, but I had it at a 9.496. That's what I was estimating it would come back as. And let's see what it did. 9.4. All right, so right in that range. I think he'll be happy with that. And so, first appearance of Gambit. I know there's controversy around X-Men Annual 14, but I'm kind of on the same page as Alex the Comic Hoarder with this one. He had a rant video that he put out recently about this book, that this is the one, you know, that he's all for, and I agree. I think this is really the book for Gambit. I know he's in multiple pages and all that kind of thing, but yeah, 9.4, and white pages too. It's awesome. So yeah, right in that range that I was expecting for that book for him, so I think he'll be happy. All right, then we got the purchase order. Let's see what the next book is here. All right. Oh, here's the big boy. All right, so this is Ultimate Fallout 4. This is the first print. I put this into a modern submission. I didn't know if they would try to like throw it up into like a walkthrough tier or something like that, depending on the value or the grade. It looked really, really nice to me. I could see one very obvious spine tick on the back, so I had it at a 9.496. I hope putting it in the modern tier didn't like, they're like, screw you, you tried to put this in the modern tier, so we're gonna give you an 8.0 or something, but it looked really nice to me. So, well, let's see. 9.2, a little lower than I was expecting. All right, I thought it was, I had it 9, like I said, I had a 9.496. But still a big book at that. So here, I'll show you the, so there's that one spine tick on the back there. And that was really the only major flaw I saw in this book. I mean, it is a clean copy. So, I don't know. I mean, this is what it is, I guess. Looks like there is, I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's color up or if that's part of the cover. I don't know. That down there. Maybe that is. I'll have to check the grader's notes on that one then. Because, yeah, I thought I really only saw the one spine tick. But, hey, 9.2 is still a great grade for this book. A little lower than I was expecting on that one, but again, I'll check the grader's notes on it. I'll do that follow-up video on these. All right, let's see what the next book is. All right. Okay, this is another one of his books. This is Why the Last Man #1. I had this one at a 9.92, and these are all like reader copies for my buddy. So he'd read these. A lot of times he'd given them to friends to read, that kind of thing. So, I mean, just being in those conditions still is pretty impressive. So let's see what he got. 9.2. All right, so the upper end of that range that I was expecting. So now, unfortunately, with this book, the show got canceled after one season. I personally was not a huge fan of this series. I read the whole Why the Last Man run as well. My buddy loaned me his books, and I read through those, and just it wasn't really for me. It was interesting, but I didn't really like how they tied it all up at the end. But still a pretty popular book. I mean, from 2002, so a little earlier on, a little older book, but 9.2. You know, like I said, I was expecting 9.0, 9.2, so right in that range. So I think, again, I'd be happy with that one. Yeah, right now, the only real disappointment, unfortunately, is the Ultimate Fallout 4, which is like probably, in theory, would have been potentially the most expensive book in here. Maybe not, though, after that. So we'll see. All right, next book. All right, this is another one of his books. So this is Saga #1, hugely popular series. You know, just an amazing kind of like sci-fi type series. One that I'd really like to get more into reading. I just haven't had time to do that. I had a huge range on this one because this is a book that I've learned takes a press very well, and meaning there's a lot of defects that you can often get out of it that you might think you can't. And so I had like I said, I had a huge range, a 9.0 to a 9.6, because I was looking at it at a pre-press. And so I wasn't sure what actually could get out of it because it's that white cover. So let's see what it got. 9.6, nice, the top end. All right, yeah, so that's what I'm talking about. This book takes a press so well. And, you know, so you can see let's see if I can get it to show up on camera. There's like one real obvious spine tick. It's tough to see. It's right in the middle there. But that's the whole thing. It's these white covers. There's a really obvious spine tick right here, and a couple little indentations along the spine, but just a book that takes a press really, really well. So that's something to be aware of. There's a couple books like that. Another one is NYX3. That first appearance of X23 takes a press really, really well. It's just something about that paper or whatever. And so, all right, so I think he has one more book in here. I don't know if this is it. But so far, yeah, that's awesome. 9.6 on that book is great. All right. Then the last one here is probably New Mutants 87. Yep. All right. So this was his last book. This is New Mutants 87, first appearance of Cable, and this is a nice one. It's got that kind of like more of a reddish background. You can get that range from red to orange. So I had this one at a 9 to a 9.2. So let's see what we got. 9.4. Awesome, man. Yeah, all these on the upper end, except for that Ultimate Fallout 4. I'm gonna have to see what I missed on that one. Because, yeah, super nice. But, yep, can't complain about that. 9.4, above what I was expecting for this. Again, like I said, I sent these all to the comic book presser, and he's done a fantastic job with these books. All right, so now I think we should be into all my books. That one Star Wars book was just kind of, for some reason, was on the end there. I don't know why that one was there. I'm going to start from the other end, because I think this will be the start of the alphabet if they're in order. So let's see here. Yep. All right, so now this is Albedo number 4. This is the second cover appearance of Usagi Yojimbo. It is the third overall appearance of that character. First appearance is in issue number 2, then 3, then now 4. 2 is an extremely valuable book. This character's tie to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles really is one of the big things that drives its value. Now, I'll be interested to see what this one gets, because I bought this book and I was very unhappy when it showed up, but it was the first time I had bought from this seller. It was early on when I was buying on IG, and I didn't want to do a return, and so I just ate it and kept it. I had it at an 8.5 to a 9.0. Let's see what it got. Yeah, 8.5. That seller sold it to me as a 9.4. I was not happy, because a 9.4, you could tell that seller never took it out of the bag. But I don't buy from that seller anymore. I was very unhappy with that. So yeah, there were a lot of flaws on this one, a lot of spine ticks and that kind of thing. And there was no way I was seeing this book getting a 9.4, and so 8.5. It is what it is. It's what I was expecting. I was maybe hoping, like, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was being overly aggressive on my grading. But yeah, I was not pleased when I got that book. So yeah, I had a number of issues with books from that seller. So yeah, like I said, I don't buy from them anymore. All right, so what's this one? All right, this is Amazing Spider-Man 252. This is the first appearance of the Black Suit, or ties with a couple other books as the first appearance of the Black Suit. I think Spectacular Spider-Man 90 and Marvel Team Up 141, but this is really the first one on the calendar. This is also the newsstand, you can see down here. I thought this was a pretty nice copy. I had it at a 9.2 and 9.2. All right, so yeah, exactly what I was hoping for, exactly what I was expecting. Just great book. I picked this one up a couple of years ago. It used to be way cheaper than it is now, much more expensive book now. I've had a few copies. I've had a 9.8 of the newsstand that I've sold since then, but I think that's the nicest one that I had left in my collection. I decided to send it out. All right, so let's see what this one is. All right, I think this is probably this Daredevil book. Yeah. So this is just more of a random book. This is a Daredevil number 180, and it was a free throw-in book that I got with some other purchases, and it looked really, really nice. I had it at a 9.6. I thought maybe it was on the edge, could get that 9.8. So I thought it would just be worthwhile to do the submission. Basically, if it's a 9.6, I'm pretty much broke even on the cost of grading and pressing and everything. If it's below that, I'm probably losing some money. So it's a little bit of a risky, not much, a few bucks either way. But 9.8, Yes, awesome. All right, I thought it had that shot, and so that definitely makes it worth it. Again, thank you, Comic Book Presser, because that's great. That is awesome to get that coming back in a 9.8, and for just a free throw-in book, 1982, that high of a grade, super happy with that. So yeah, 9.8, Daredevil 180. Kingpin, Vanessa Fisk, and Elektra appearance. I thought it was kind of just a cool cover. So yeah, real happy with that. All right. So far, I gotta say, I can't complain about the grading. One thing, I will say that I think what I've noticed with this grading for the grading that people are complaining about in the modern tier, I think you really have to get your books pressed. I think if you aren't getting your books pressed, you're going to get slammed. And I think it's just they're expecting books to look like those like super moderns. And you don't really get that look unless you're getting the book pressed. And so I think that's really hurting people that are trying to send in books unpressed in that modern tier. And so I think you've got to get your books pressed. And I don't recommend using CCS. I don't think that, I think they're so slammed that I feel like they're not doing the job they should be doing. Find a great third-party presser, like Comic Book Presser, send it through them, and I think you're gonna probably have a little better luck with your submissions. All right, next one. Oh, okay. So this is a book that I have actually this one, and I have the Virgin like regular cover. So this is Immortal She-Hulk #1, and I didn't think this was a 9.8 because it had some color rub. You can see right here by the staple there. See that color rub by the staple? But I figured it could still probably get a 9.6 with that, and it's just such a cool cover. I got the book for free, so oh man, can get a 9.8. So that's what I said. There are certain amounts of color rub that are allowable, and that is within that range. That's an awesome book in a 9.8. I love the pink cover. Man, I'm happy with that. That's awesome. Okay. Yeah, I'm super excited about this. All right, now I'm hoping that I have the pairing book with this one. I have another Immortal She-Hulk #1. Okay. And don't worry, I've got a few older books in here too. I mean, I did have the ASM 252 and that kind of stuff, but I've got, I think, I've got two that are from back in the 70s in there. All right, so this should be the other one. All right, now this one, I may regret saying this. I was pretty certain this was going to be a 9.8. This book looked really, really nice. Now, obviously, 9.6, 9.8, they're both really nice looking books, but let's see. Yes, 9.8, awesome. So that's that pair here. So we've got the Immortal She-Hulk #1, and this is that's what I meant. It wasn't the Virgin variant, the Lee variant cover, and then Immortal She-Hulk #1, the Lee Virgin cover. So yeah, two really cool 9.8 matching pair. That's awesome. I'm real excited about that, especially because I wasn't sure if that amount of color rub would allow for a 9.8, and looks like it is. So that's one of those things that I've had those conversations. I comment to people on chats and things when I see these comments that I think a lot of people think that a 9.8 is a perfect book. A 9.8 is not a perfect book. A 10.0 is a perfect book. A 9.8 can have flaws. And it's just knowing how much of a flaw the book can actually have and still get that grade. And sometimes you get a little more than you might think, and other times you don't. Sometimes you feel like they're being a little more strict, but you can have flaws in those 9.8 grades, and that's an example of that. Color rub is definitely one of them that you can have, especially if there's nothing else, if there are no other spine ticks or anything like that. All right, what's this one? Okay, so I've got a few copies of this. I have 3 copies of Transformers. I don't know what order I put them in. 2 of them I thought were really high grade. One of them is like a mid to high grade. And so this is one of the newsstands. So I had one newsstand that I thought was high grade and one that I didn't. So let's see which one this is. 9.6. All right, yep. So I had one that I thought was 9.4, 9.6. I'm guessing this is that book because I can't imagine the other one got this with the flaws it had. I was hoping it might hit that 9.8 because the newsstand 9.8 of this book is a monster, just a monster. And I didn't think it could get there, but I was like, you always secretly hope that you can pull that 9.8 just because it's so many thousands of dollars for a 9.8 of that book. But 9.6, still, incredible book. Really happy with that. being able to get these upper ends on these books. All right, so the next one, if it's a direct, it means I also thought it was a 9496. If it's a newsstand, okay, it's a direct, so I thought this was 9496 as well. 94. All right, so yeah, again, happy with that, in that grade range. And just it's the first appearance of a whole bunch of Transformers, and there are multiple prints for this book. There are at least 3 prints. The way to tell the difference is the back cover. That's the quick way. You could also look inside the front cover, but if you look at the back cover, first print's always this guy. I just cut away, so I went and grabbed my second print copy of this so I could show you. So like I said, first print has this guy on the back. Then the second print, so this is, I have a 9/8 of the second print, has these guys on the back. And I can't remember what's the third print. If I remember to go find a picture, I'll try to throw a picture of it up there if I can find it. The second and third prints are much harder to find than the first print. There's a lot more of the first prints, but the first print still tends to sell for more. So it doesn't always work that the more rare something is, the more valuable it is. It's not always the case. But yeah. So then that means that this book here should be Transformers #1, but another newsstand, which is the only reason I sent this one in, because in this grade, the direct edition isn't really worth it, but the newsstand is. The newsstand does sell for quite a bit more than the direct. I had this one at a 7.58. 8.5, nice. Yeah, because I'll show you why. This is the main flaw in this book, that crease right there. And so you can definitely have creases like that and get in the 8s. That's why 8 I thought was the top end with that length of a crease. But the rest of the book appears was clean enough that was able to push up into that, into that 8.5. So I don't know what that is, maybe like a 3/4 of an inch crease, getting an 8.5. And that's a crease you can't do really anything about. And I'm really happy with this because a lot of these books had kind of like some indentations and things in them, whether it was from something setting on them, and the pressing, got that stuff out. So really happy with these. 8.5, higher than I was expecting, so definitely a nice return for that one. All right, now the last two I think should be X-Men books then. So first one here, X-Men 94. This was the other one I felt kind of guilty putting this one into the modern submission. Technically, it falls into modern because it is 1975, and so you can put it into a modern submission, but I felt the price was, wasn't really going to be fair for that. So I thought I might get an upcharge on it. I haven't seen one, so hey, happy with that. So this is X-Men 94. This is the first appearance of the new X-Men in the X-Men title. I had this one at a 6.5. See, it's got a bunch of spine wear, but in general, it's a pretty nice looking book. It had a little bit has this wear on here on the edge, and I think a little bit down in the corner here. But I thought it's a pretty nice copy. 6.5, hoping 7. Oh man, this is incredible. This has been a really solid unboxing. I can't complain about any of this. So yeah, thanks again, Comic Book Presser, 7.0, and white pages. You even notice that. So always a nice plus to get the the white pages on a book like this. So very happy with that. This is a book that I recommended as one of the #1 pickup that I think you should be probably going after right now. It's come down a lot from where it was. I think we're going to get, I know we're going to get the X-Men in the future. And so I like these books where it's more of like a general key, a generic key, where it's for a bunch of characters instead of a single character, because then you will often see those books go up in value regardless of who shows up. And so 7.0, X-Men 94, very happy with that. All right. Now for the last one. All right, this should be X-Men number 109. Yes. All right. Now, I bought this one back in like 2019 or 2020, back when these books were still really cheap. I think, I don't remember what I paid. It was like a little over $100. And this one looked, again, super high grade. I had it at a 9294. Just a really nice looking copy of this one. This is the first appearance of Weapon Alpha. And, you just got Wolverine getting an uppercut right in the face. And let's see what we got. 9.4. Awesome. Yes, I'm very excited about this too. So, yeah, I had 9294, and on the upper end of that, white pages. Really excited about getting that one. Just, you know, getting those top ends of the grade range that I was expecting. Sorry to my friend that got the 9.2 on the Ultimate Fallout 4. That's the only one that fell below my expected grade. You know, half grade below. I had that one at a 9.496 and ended up at a 9.2. But everything else spot on or above. So super happy with that. So yeah, what I'll do is, like I said, I'm gonna try to film another video where I go over these books and then talk about the graders notes. I'll check out the graders notes if they have them and kind of see why they graded the way they graded them. I thought that was a really helpful video that I saw that Bryce Comics did, just from the perspective of helping people learn how to grade. And so hope you enjoyed this video. This is a super fun unboxing. Always exciting when you get books that meet or exceed the grades that you're expecting. If you'd like to see more content like this, I have an express shipment that just got in too, so I'll be filming another one, and I've got a couple others at CGC right now that are still early in the grading process, so there'll be a while, I think, or a little while till they get here. But again, if you like this video, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content like this. I've got more videos over here if you'd like to watch some of my other videos, and the subscription button right here. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, I would really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video.